Let me explain to you how to create a UPS shipping label this year. How do you save money? How do you make things faster for you? How do you, most importantly, avoid errors? Okay. The whole priority here is to have a zero error when you are creating a UPS shipping label. So here are the top tips I want you to really pay attention to. When you are trying to create a shipping label via UPS.com, you have to start with the platform. You can use the app, you can use the UPS app, or you can go to the mobile version of the website, or just go to the desktop version, ups.com, and you want to select create a shipment from the shipping tab. Now, every now and then, UPS does change the look and feel of their website, but most importantly, you cannot really, you can't miss the create a shipment or even the shipping tab, okay? So you want to really, from there, things can be really straightforward. You want to enter your name and address in the ship from. I'll show you a few screenshots shortly so you have a clear idea what I'm speaking about. So you want to enter your name and address in the ship from section, then the name and address of the recipient in the ship to section. So there are ship from and also ship to section. And then from there, you want to provide the requested information about the package you're shipping, and you need to select the service options that best match your delivery needs. And finally, you have to pay, right? You have to choose your preferred payment method and print your label. I'll explain things to you more in granularity right now, okay? So if you have a UPS shipping account, you just log in right now into your shipping account, or you can actually also ship as a guest. So UPS is not really forcing you to open an account with them. You are free to actually ship as a guest, not a problem, okay? So I'll show you a few screenshots right now. So here is the first screenshot. So here is a create a shipment, the create a shipment window you have here. Next, I want to show you here basically where you have to put the ship to. So you put the ship from, and here this is how the ship to section really looks like. Next, you have the section that relates to packaging. So packaging really is pretty straightforward. You have to choose which packaging really fits the specific shipment that you have, because that's going to have a cost impact, right? The package you have will affect the price that you are going to pay in the end. So that's pretty straightforward. So if you want to create a UPS shipping label, it's important that from time to time you might need to reprint a shipping label, okay? And so everything, if you want to reprint a shipping label, the process that is kind of similar to what you did before, in the sense that everything starts with the shipping history. So you want to log into your account, or if you want to reprint a shipping label, you can't really you can't be a guest account, right? You gotta be a regular account, because you need to go into the shipping history. So you want to view the shipping history. You want to go in the UPS app or in the UPS website. And so in the shipment history window, you want to choose the package or shipments that you need to reprint the labels for. And what happens here is that on the printing activities tab, you need to really specify the labels and then the type of label that you want to print, and everything will depend on the shipment that you want to edit, okay, that you want to reprint the label for. And so if you have previously set up 2 or more label printers, then you can select the printer you would like to use for the select label printer window that will appear. So that's that's how you actually do it. And now, what are the required labels for domestic air? See, the thing is that UPS is constantly changing its label requirements based on the service that you choose. So your domestic shipment actually using air services require that you use a label printed from an automated shipping system like UPS.com, or you want to really choose a UPS air shipping document. So air shipping document, that's ASD. Okay, and the cool thing about the ASD is that it will combine your address label, tracking label, and shipping record into one form. Okay, so that's kind of cool. So specific ASDs are available for UPS Next Day Air and Next Day Air Early. That's kind of cool. You have a UPS Next Day Air, which can be really used for UPS Worldwide Express. You have UPS Next Day Air Saver. You have UPS Second Day Air AM, and then you have a UPS Second Day Air. So this kind of gives you an idea of what the ASDs can apply for. You can order ASDs online or on the UPS supplies page, or you can find detailed in preparation instructions on the reverse side of each ASD, so that you can really complete the whole form appropriately. So that's pretty straightforward. The thing is, when you actually think about creating a UPS shipping label, if you want to really navigate between the ASD and the regular label, you gotta really keep in mind that you have to always go back to the shipping service that you choose. But most importantly, the shipment that you are sending through UPS, right? Because the whole thing is, you do not want the shipment to be delayed. And if you don't want the shipment to be delayed, proper labeling is quite essential. Because otherwise, your shipment will be lingering somewhere in one of UPS's warehouses and not going anywhere. And you do not want to have that, okay? And so what you want to do here is that you want to really have the proper ASD, and most importantly, you also want to save money, right? You also want to think about cost-saving opportunities. So there are actually many time-saving tools that are available on UPS.com. So what you want to do is, of course, you can ship via UPS as a guest, right? I've told you this before, but it does help if you are going to use UPS, let's say, on a regular basis, to actually have an account. So when you have an account, they're not going to they're not going to really bombard you with spam emails or spam mail. No, they don't do that. This is not how they roll. Okay, they really respect people's privacy. I'm speaking here about UPS. Okay, so feel free to register with UPS.com. Even if you're not going to use them on a regular basis, just have an account. That way you can really track things every now and then. Okay, so anytime you ship packages, you're able to track things to not only the tracking of the product, but also to go back to your history and see what kind of like how much you have saved, for instance, in terms of cost, how much you have saved on past shipments. Okay, and the cool thing is that you are able to actually like your payments is actually secured, because payments on UPS.com are actually encrypted, so that you have a full privacy, no problem. So if you're thinking about creating a UPS shipping label, let me give you a few extras to kind of help you save money, to really help you actually accelerate the whole process and really get your shipment delivered real fast, okay? I want to talk to you about how to write an address, because when we speak about labeling, of course, we are speaking about address writing. So if the address is incorrect on any package, it's going to be a big issue, big time, okay? So I want to really spend a few minutes explaining to you how to make sure your package gets to where you need it to go. Let's first talk about how to write a U.S. mailing address. Then I'll speak about how to write a military address, how to write an international address, and how to really also pay attention to the return address, okay? Because there are actually guidelines for every scenario. I want to start with the first one. That's the easiest. That's the one that you and I are really we are familiar with, okay? How do you write a U.S. mailing address when you are trying to create a UPS shipping label? So for sending mail and packages within the U.S., you want to use the following format. So line 1, you want to start with the name of the recipient, including any legal or professional title as appropriate. And when sending to organizations, you want to include the company name as well as the recipient's work title, and if known, the name of their department, okay? And that will be really helpful for the UPS guy or lady, the delivery person, to actually get the item to the recipients a lot faster. And so that's line 1. Line 2, you want to write the street address. Remember to include the apartment number where one exists, and any directional information like northwest, southeast, northeast, or southwest. So that's line 2. Line 3, you have to write the town city followed by the two-letter code state abbreviation and the five-digit the zip code, okay, on one line if that really if it's fitting. Otherwise, separate the information across two lines. Let me give you an example here. I want you to look on the screen here. Here's an example. The receiver's name on the first line, the address on the second line, and the third line you have the city, state, and zip. And if shipping or mailing from overseas, you want to add a final line for United States or USA. So if you're thinking about creating a UPS shipping label and you are actually writing an international address, it's important to really pay attention to the specifics of the country where the shipment is going, because every country has different configurations when it comes to shipment codes, when it comes to address format. So international address format are similar in structure to domestic addresses. Just be aware of minor variations in format among countries. Taking a little extra time to clarify the correct format can really make all the difference when shipping overseas, especially when it comes to getting your item delivered today versus getting delivered next week. Let me give you a couple examples, okay? I want to talk about the UK. I want to speak about India. I want to speak about France. You will see that there are subtle differences. I'm showing you on the screen right now. Here is an example for the UK. So in the UK, it's actually common to include the county or metropolitan area before the postal code. So you can see the receiver's name on the first line, second line, the address, third, the city, the county, and the postcode. Okay, so that's really cool. So that's for the UK. As you can see that in the UK you have 6 lines, whereas in France the postal code precedes the town or city name. So I'm showing this to you on the screen here. So you have the receiver's name, apartment 2. So that's the apartment, the city, the city. So you have the address, the city, but also the city and the zip, and also the country. And in India, it's really common to include the states before the postal code. So I'm showing this to you on the screen here. So you have first line, receiver's name, next the address, then the city, and then the code. So you have different. Sorry about that. So you have different configurations, really. Okay, so that's important to keep that in mind. And how do you write a military address if you are creating a UPS shipping label? So basically, UPS can only ship to a military address if you ship with UPS Shore Post or with UPS Mail Innovations, okay? A military mail is actually handled by its own dedicated postal channel, so that's really important to keep that in mind. So for this reason, there is no need actually to list city or country names in a military address. In fact, you should actively avoid using city or country names because you don't want military mail to enter domestic or foreign postal networks, okay? So the military address format is actually straightforward. I mean, it's one of those things where you really love it because you want to use the service member's full name and title, followed by the unit and APO, FPO number. Let me give you an example here. You can see this on the screen here. So the first line, you have the surgeon's receiver's name, the unit 2050 box 4190, and APO, AP 90, and the rest. Okay. Now APO stands for Army Post Office, Army and Air Force Installations, and FPO stands for Fleet Post Office. So that's for Navy installations and ships. Okay. So as shown a little earlier, the APO or FPO designation is actually followed by one of AA, Armed Forces of the Americas, AE, Armed Forces of Europe, or AP, Armed Forces of the Pacific. So followed by an extended zip code. So when sending military mail, you always want to provide a return address on the front of the package. So if you're thinking about creating a UPS shipping label, you also have to pay attention to writing a return address correctly. Because see, the thing is, I mean, of course, you want to have a mail service that's reliable, but stuff happens. Nobody is perfect, and stuff happens. And so if you have a return address, at least you're sure that your shipment will come back to you and will not be lost, right? So it may seem like an extra step, but adding a return address is always a smart idea in the event of non-delivery, and non-deliveries happen all the time. So the return address should actually follow the same format as other domestic addresses in the United States. So I'm showing this to you on the screen here. So you have the sender's name, the address, in other words, the city, the streets, and then the city and zip code. Or you can just or even put your local country if you are sending from overseas. You always want to write the return address in the upper left corner of the package envelope, of the package or envelope, okay? Now, what about UPS thermal printers? I think I spoke about this a little earlier. So when you think about creating a UPS shipping label, it's important to understand that you can actually print labels from UPS.com. You can print labels from the app, or you can use thermal printers, okay? Now, thermal printers are a type of printer that use heat transfer to print in black and white, but they can only print shipping labels. So if you want to really use a thermal printer for UPS shipping and return labels, you have to understand that first of all, you can use several makes and models of thermal printers to conveniently print shipping labels on your own time. So there's no sort of like there's no restrictions here, okay? UPS is pretty compatible with all kinds of thermal printers. And so UPS.com, including Campus Ship, is actually compatible with most thermal label printers that will print 4x6 labels, okay? 4x6 labels, so we're speaking here about 4" by 6" labels. And standard desktop laser and inkjet printers are also supported, so you always have the flexibility when you are thinking about creating a UPS shipping label, that no matter what printer you have, you will be taken care of, okay? Now, WordShip is actually compatible with most thermal label printers that will print 4x6 and 4x8 labels, as well as standard desktop laser and inkjet printers, okay? So just follow the documentation that comes with the printer to install the correct driver and for setup instructions, okay? So that's really good. And one thing I want to say here is that now label printers are also available to rent from UPS, but you got to call the UPS Customer Service Center at 1-800-742-5877. 1-800-742-5877. So that's really the line that you have to call to ask all questions. But and again, when it comes to setting up your UPS thermal label printer, the process is pretty straightforward. Nothing really complicated here. You would have to go through the driver instructions provided with the label printer itself. But once you have it, you should have a list of sources and destinations, and UPS.com should be a destination among the choices you have. And this is pretty straightforward. Nothing really complicated. Now, if you have any question about how to set up your UPS thermal label printer, let us know in the comment section, and we'll certainly get back to you. We'll give you more information about the label that the make and model that you are working on. So in closing remarks, in today's conversation, I explained to you how to create a UPS shipping label. I'll give you our top tips, the extras, and finally, the closing remarks. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.